This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Green Bay Packers going to win. They go to 7-3-1. They knock off the Minnesota Vikings. They snap the two-game home losing streak. They snap the losing streak at the frozen tundra, which is not so frozen today, to the Minnesota Vikings as well. 23-6, the final. 23-6, the final in this one. And the Green Bay Packers, like I said, go to 7-3-1, a short turnaround. They've got the Detroit Lions now coming up. Lions trailing right now with 6:49 to go in the contest over there at Ford Field, 27-24, trailing the Giants as we speak. I'll tell you this, the Bears, they were trailing early on, and then they started to run away with things. They put up 14 points in the second half, and have not allowed the Steelers to put up any, and therefore it's 31-21 right now with 7:36 to go in that ball game. But if the Lions take a loss, well, who knows? Who knows? I mean, maybe all of a sudden the Green Bay Packers, which has a couple of them coming up with the Bears within the next 3 weeks, that to maybe, just maybe, the Green Bay Packers overtake the top spot in the NFC North. But today's game, welcome in, by the way. Welcome in to everybody. Glad to have you. Today's game was a ground and pound dominating game. That's what it was. Nothing more, nothing less. There was absolutely positively nothing pretty about this game in regards to the Green Bay Packers and getting the win. Nothing about it made you go, wow, that was fantastic. The Green Bay Packers, though, 7 of 14 on third down. Now, in the second half, they weren't converting nearly as much as they did. They were 5 of 7 at one point. So think about that. They were 5 of 7 at one point. After that, they went 2 of 7 the remainder of the way, and they were churning out some yards. But Matt LaFleur stuck to the run game, stuck to eating up the clock, stuck to grinding it out. The defense did what they were supposed to do. I'll tell you this, McDuffie today, he ended up with a half a sack. Devontae Wyatt with 2 sacks today. Micah Parsons with 2 sacks and 2 pressures today, all by himself. Brinson with a half a sack today. And Evan Williams. I'll tell you what, between Evan Williams and Zane Anderson, those 2 cats can hit. I love their instinct, man. Absolutely, positively love their instinct. And both of those guys had a whale of a game today. Colby Wooden up front, 4 tackles today. Adrian Cooper, 4 tackles today. And again, no Quay Walker, no Matthew Golden today, no Josh Jacobs today. Key contributors normally, none of them on the field. Packers today just about dominated, 22 first downs to 10 first downs. And like I had mentioned, they were 7 of 14 on third down. The Packers racked up 288 yards in this one. The Minnesota Vikings could only muster 145 yards. 145 yards. J.J. McCarthy, for lack of a better term, stinks. Now, he's only 6 games into his young career, but he can hit. He's missing wide-open receivers, overthrowing balls, which led to a pick. He was 12 of 19, 87 yards, 2 interceptions today. That was it. Think about this. When was the last time Justin Jefferson was held under 50 yards playing against the Green Bay Packers? I can't remember. He was 4 catches, 48 yards. His longest catch of the day was a 19-yard out pattern that picked up a first down. That was it. Emmanuel Wilson today, 28 carries, grinding it out at 3.8 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, 107 yards. He's the first running back this season for the Green Bay Packers to go over 100 yards, by the way. Brooks comes in, gives him a spell, 8 carries, 21 yards. Jordan Love scrambles for 15. Willis gets 3 yards on a day. I mean, it wasn't some kind of a spectacular run day. But the Packers today, going into this game, this is what you and I talked about. If you followed me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, follow me on TikTok. I was going into the game today, and it was master of the obvious. There was nothing there that said, boy, this is what they're going to do. Here's the top 3 things. There was none of that crap today. None of it. You know why? Because all you wanted to do was snap the home losing streak. You wanted to snap the losing streak to the Vikings. You wanted to get a win in the division, and you wanted to make it look like a one of those good old NFC North punch you in the mouth, punch back and forth, bloodbath kind of a games. And that's what the Packers did. They just beat them.
There was nothing flashy about it. Do they still have problems? Yeah, offensively, okay. The offensive line's still not cohesive. I do like the fact that they're moving Anthony Belton in for Banks in and out of the game. Belton at times looked good. They had a lot of whiffs up front today. The offensive line looked better, but still nowhere near what they needed to be. Still nowhere near what they needed to be. I'll tell you that right now. Nowhere near it. But they look better. I liked Belton moving in. Belton, young guy, got to get his hands out a little bit more. Got to move around a little bit more. Got to get up underneath a couple of guys. But he's got some beef, man, and you've got to go around that mountain of a human being just to be able to get to the quarterback or get to the ball carrier. So I liked that today. So there was a lot there. There was a lot there to kind of build on. Not perfect, and I am not blowing green and gold smoke up on anybody's keister today at all. Okay, not at all. But a 23-6 win over the Vikings, you take that every damn day of the week, won't you? You take that every damn day of the week. Hell yeah, you will. 877-867-1670. By the way, you want to give us a shout again, 877-867-1670. Text us 608-321-1670. You can hit us up via email, thebillmichaels@gmail.com, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. We're live over here at Burkle's Sports Bar and Grill. We're in Green Bay. Got out of the press box with about 10 minutes to go in the ball game. Got over here, got all set up. And this game was a quick moving one today, as a matter of fact, as well. Only 2 hours and I think 43 minutes to get this whole game in, which is a really fast-moving football game, to be perfectly honest with you. So, and I get it. There's a lot of people that are going to question the play calling. Did I think it was conservative? In third and short situations, you were running the ball extremely well. You were cramming it down their throats. A couple of missed blocks. There's a couple of times where I saw people say, oh, my God, I can't believe you didn't do this. But Belton had a missed block. Sean Ryan had a missed block. And so did Jordan Morgan. Had two of them today. Otherwise, those plays go for positive yardage, and those plays end up being first downs, and they convert. And it's not then the conservative play calling. It's then grinding it and driving it right down their throats. You know, we were all talking about it in the press box. Myself, Mike Clemens is next to me, a couple of the other guys, our guys from WDUZ, Bill Raywick was there. I was talking to Gary Ellerson. I'm like, just keep grinding the ball. Just wear them down, grind them down. They just kept missing a few blocks here and there. That was it. But other than that, it was straightforward running today, man. Here it is. We're going to hand it off. They got him under center a lot more. They did a little motion, little play action. Savion Williams gets the ball one time, which you got to do that, I guess, per game. I guess that's what it is. But not a bad deal. And then, think about this. Then you had Keyshawn Nixon went down. Corey Valentine came in. He had Justin Jefferson the majority of the time. By the way, Keyshawn Nixon goes down, stinger, left shoulder. And again, I'm going to make a note of this because I keep saying it. I checked right away. He does not wear X-Tech pads. I don't know when the Packers are going to get off their asses and say, let these pads in our locker room. We have got numerous shoulder injuries. None of these guys are wearing X-Tech pads. The guys are wearing them aren't getting the shoulder injuries. I don't know why they're not doing this. It's one of the dumbest things I could. Why are you giving up the health of your team at the expense of yourself for investing in McDonald or Douglas pads? I have no idea. But it's now statistically stupid for the Green Bay Packers to continue to allow that. So anyway, I'm off my high horse. So that being said, today they grind it out. They get a win. They beat the Vikings. They are undefeated in the division. They got a big one coming up against the Lions, and they snapped the home losing streak, and they snapped the losing streak to the Vikings at home. All good things all the way around. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Let's get to it. We got people on hold. Our buddy Gerard, first out of the chute. Gerard, what's happening?
Hey, Bill. Listen, have a good Thanksgiving. I won't be able to chat after Thursday's game, but I just want to wish you a good Thanksgiving.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And I know you're headed back down to South America, man. You be careful down there.
Yeah, well, I'm there not to be careful. That's the job.
Gotcha.
I usually make it through. I pick my spot.
Sure.
But Banks, I thought, had a really good game. I was waiting for McCarthy Lane and John Brockington to suit up. You know what I mean?
Right.
I thought they played a really conservative, obviously. Now, look, everybody has to realize Love's shoulder, his left shoulder,
yes.
There's something wrong with it.
Yep.
And the announcers kept saying, everybody kept saying he's handing the ball off with his right hand all the time.
Yep.
And so there is something, and they were protecting him. and I'm pretty happy about the game. Come on, there's always stuff in the game, but let me tell you this: Moore is no guard. I mean, Morgan is no guard.
No.
I mean, he whipped how many times, Bill? It was so they had to put Belton in there, and if they think he's going to move the left tackle and be any better next year, they better start to look at re-signing Walker. I mean, they might have to extend him.
Yep.
They really might have to, and it's a shame that when they were down there, and a couple of times they just went too conservative. It was just too. You know what I mean? It was just 5 yards, 3 yards, and they handing the ball off. I thought that wasn't too good. But like I said, it's a short week. They're playing Detroit. The Giants are probably just about to kick a field goal to go up 30-24 with about 2.5 minutes left in the game. So they just missed on third and a goal from the 3. So I guess you're watching that. But anyway, let's keep our fingers crossed. Detroit loses today, and we got to, we're gonna have to play really well.
Let me ask you this, because you're probably one of the more harder critics. What did you think of the overall game? Because everything that I wanted them to do, they checked those boxes today. They snapped the losing streak. They got the divisional win. They ground out a good win. Defensively, they played extremely well, and they were down numerous guys because of injury. Overall, if you're going to look at this team today and say this is a bad win, a good win, a great win, how would you kind of categorize the win?
I thought the defense, Parsons and Wyatt, I thought Wyatt had an outstanding game. But the way I'm going to look at this win is he went into this game knowing he was going to win, and that's what bothered me. I thought he really felt that, and I think that he went a little too conservative on the game plan. But considering all what you said, the injuries and playing Thursday, it was the right thing to do.
Yep.
It really was the right thing to do. I mean, I'm a critic of LaFleur all the time. Now, here's what I'm going to say. I think somebody in the organization, whether it was LaFleur or somebody, got on Butkus, the offensive line coach, and probably said, either you get this offensive line straightened out or you're going to be history. Because I saw Banks. I mean, this was a different guy today. Mm-hmm. And Ryan, though, he did whiff once. He played pretty well.
Yeah.
He had a whiff. I love that
he had a whiff. Morgan had a couple of them. Banks had one or two, and then they brought Belton in. Belton had, I would expect, to have one. But the problem when they had a whiff, they had a whiff on third down. Because if they convert those third downs, then it doesn't look nearly as bad conservative-wise, because you would convert those third downs in the second half into first downs, which would have kept drives alive.
But Bill, remember this. On third down, they were expecting they knew what the Vikings were going to do, and they knew what they were going to do. They were going to run the ball. So the Vikings knew that, so it was easy for the Vikings to go up against that, in my opinion. So if you did a play-action play on those downs, especially Wilson's linebacker, you can't forget that. He still knows a lot of their plays.
Yeah.
So, and how many times did Wilson get into the backfield? How many times?
Oh, yeah, more than a few today.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
that's what I'm saying. There was some pressure back there. And I'll tell you what, that blitz that came completely untouched, that was on Jordan Love. Because he saw the blitzer, never pointed it out, and they never changed the protection. And that was on Jordan Love, because I was asking around to a couple of people just to make sure I wasn't an idiot. And they said, no, that's Love. Love should have seen that coming up, because he got Wilson killed in the backfield, and he should have changed that at the line of scrimmage as well.
Well, again, Bill, what is that? That's reacting instead of dictating, and that's not your quarterback knowing it. And you keep bringing this up, and you're making a great point, and I know what you're doing, because what you're doing yourself, a veteran quarterback would be able to pick that up, and he should be able to change a play or do something like that. And Love has been in the league long enough to do that. You see how they were criticizing J.J. McCarthy today, ripping him. I mean, really ripping him. and he's a young quarterback. But you see, love.
I got to run here, Gerard. Appreciate it, but we're at the top of the hour. Music is playing. Stay tuned. We have a happy Thanksgiving too. We're coming right back. Don't go anywhere. 7-3-1. The Green Bay Packers are 23-6. They get the win. We got a lot more of the Green and Gold postgame show. 2 more hours yet to go. Don't go anywhere right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Green and Gold postgame show. We are live. We're here at Burkle Sports Bar and Grill. We are in Green Bay, and the Packers get themselves a win 23-6. To everybody on the network, welcome in. We always appreciate you listening to us and taking a time out of your busy schedule and joining us after the program. We are at Burkle's, Burkle Sports Bar and Grill, a block over from the stadium, from Lambeau Field. Got over here with about 8 minutes to go in the ball game. And the Packers ground out themselves a 23-6 win. Going into the game today, I want to recap. Going into the game today, the Green Bay Packers, I said, need to do a few things. They checked all the boxes. 1, you got to win. You snap the home losing streak, first and foremost. 2, you got to beat the Vikings, but you got to snap the home losing streak to the Vikings as well. 3, make it look like a win. Grind one out. That's what you need to do. You need to grind one out against this team. You need to be able to say, okay, look, we didn't get a pretty win, but you ground one out. You knew no Josh Jacobs, no Matthew Golden, so you're down Golden, you're down Reed, you're down Tucker Kraft. You don't have a ton of weapons to throw to. You got Jordan Love with a bad left shoulder. He's handing off with his right hand, so we see that going on as well. Emmanuel Wilson's running the ball. Brooks is his backup. You're trying to kind of mix and match with jumbo package. You're mixing and matching. Anthony Belton was coming in and out for Banks. They were alternating series. So Banks is now kind of on the hot seat, who ended up having a much better game. And then Belton moves over and goes to take over for Jordan Morgan. Jordan Morgan whiffed on a few occasions. You had Sean Ryan whiffed once. Banks whiffed a couple of times on crucial third down situations, so they weren't able to extend drives. But overall, the defense played well. You ground out a win, a divisional win. You're 2-0 in the division. You go to 7-3-1. You knock off the Vikings. You end the losing streak on both occasions, both at Lambeau Field and to the Vikings at Lambeau Field. The Green Bay Packers, 50% on third down. Now, don't let this fool you. 7 of 14 they were today, which is great overall. But they were 5 of 7 at one point, which meant they went 2 of 7 after that. They were 5 of 7 at one point. And after that, in the second half, they went 2 of 7. They missed some blocks, which could have extended drives. Running the football, I get it, a little conservative today. But again, you've got the injuries that you're dealing with. Your quarterback is a little bit banged up. You don't want him out running around. You certainly don't want him standing in the pocket and getting hit. You mixed and matched shotgun versus under center. I thought today checked every box. It wasn't pretty, but you didn't expect it to be. And remember, and I tweeted this out earlier, like half of the games that these two teams play are less than a 7-point score at the end of the game. So the fact that you got a 23-6 win, you took advantage of J.J. McCarthy today, I think there's a lot of good that came out of this thing. I think there's a lot of good that came out of this thing. So I'm thrilled with the win. Now you really other than Keyshawn Nixon, and by the way, when Keyshawn Nixon went down with the shoulder stinger, Keyshawn Nixon's replacement, who ended up going in and covering Valentine, ended up covering Justin Jefferson most of the time, did a really good job. Had they had a better quarterback, it might have been a different scenario when it comes to covering Justin Jefferson. But I thought Valentine did a really good job today. And what they did, zone coverage-wise, they put a lot of pressure on McCarthy when they had to. I'll tell you this, Micah Parsons, grown-ass man. He's Gam, baby. He's Gam, grown-ass man. When he ran over Ryan Kelly on the 3-man, they had 2 down linemen and Micah Parsons, and he put an all-pro type of center, Ryan Kelly, on his ass. I mean, bull rushed him to the point where I think he is still right now back in the locker room, and he's asking for Toro or somebody to come over and mow his rectum because he's got so much grass on his ass. That's how hard he got put down by Micah Parsons today. So all in all, I thought it was a really good win. Really good win for the Green Bay Packers. Welcome back. If you want to get a hold of us, 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Call or you can text us 608-321-1670. And by the way, I want to say to all of you watching and listening on the live stream, whether it's on the live stream or whether it's on a lot of the radio stations throughout the great state of Wisconsin, or you're streaming us on our Wisco Sports Zone app or anywhere in the world that you are, happy Thanksgiving coming up to all of you. And yes, we are going to be here immediately following the Packers and the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. We're working. You're going to be enjoying the turkey. You're going to sit back, relax. You can put us in your ear after the fact, and we'll be right here for you as well. Right now, you've got the Detroit Lions losing to the New York Giants with 1:12 left to go in the ball game, but the Lions are driving 27-24. The Lions falling right now to the Giants. We'll see if that ends up holding up. By the way, and it probably won't because they just ended up hitting a nice pass to Amara St. Brown, I believe it is, that puts them within field goal range with just over a minute to go in the game. In the meantime, the Steelers, they had a lead, and then it all slipped away. Mason Rudolph wasn't able to get the job done down in Chicago, and the Bears, they get themselves a victory, 31-21 down at Soldier Field. That game just about wrapping things up down there. Again, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Texas 608-321-1670. By the way, it's 31-28 now. 31-28. So the Bears not quite done yet. 1:36 to go in the ball game. And the Steelers and Mason Rudolph were able to put one up on the board. So 31-28. They're trying to make a game out of it. We'll see. It would be a big upset if the Steelers were able to go into Chicago and end up pulling this one out. Meantime, like I said, the Giants right now beating the Lions, but the Lions now in field goal range in New York Giant territory. We'll see how that one comes out as well. And again, if you want to find us, you can text us 608-321-1670. Also email us. And to everybody on the live stream, how we're looking, and hopefully you're having a really, really good day. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll get to everybody. Scott listening to us in Fort Worth, Texas today. Scott, how you doing, pal? What's going on?
Hey, Bill, thank you for taking my call, and happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody that works there, buddy. Thanks, man. Hey, I thought it was a solid game, man. I mean, we bullied them. I mean, I think I heard the announcer say they had like 4 yards of offense in the second half. I mean, that's dominating. That's just bullying them. I haven't seen us bully the Vikings like that in a long time. So I didn't have a problem with really anything that happened today. I mean, if you're running the ball with Emmanuel Wilson and you're getting good chunks of yards, why throw the football if you don't have to? But my concern, and this has nothing to do with this game, but it's just a season-long thing I noticed. The inability, it seems like the offense, to attack downfield consistently. I'm looking at this Lions game right now. I see Winston with 300-plus yards, and Jared Goff's got 2-something. But, Jordan Love's more of a kind of a 100 to 200-yard passer on most occasions with the rare 300. But I just kind of wondered what you thought about why we can't consistently attack downfield more with the receivers we have. And then on the defensive side of the ball, just real quick. Oh, by the way, Emmanuel Wilson, that's a grown-ass man right there. Yep. I've liked that dude since the first time I put eyes on him when he was in a preseason game against Cincinnati. That guy needs to be sticking around because he's just got it. I don't know what that is. He's got the same it I saw when Aaron Jones was first coming up, but maybe not as much first.
You know what? Hold on. That's exactly. We were talking with Gary Elderson, who ran the ball for the Packers years ago, and Mike Clemens. We're all sitting there talking at half, and we said that was the exact thing they said. That's like a young Aaron Jones. When he first came to the Packers, that's the way he ran the ball today. So the comparison is absolutely perfect. You're dead on.
Yeah, and then lastly, I don't pay enough attention to what I'm about to ask you, so maybe you can tell me. I know they like to move Micah Parsons around, but the times I did notice today, he was lined up on the non-blind side of the quarterback, so the quarterback see which direction he's coming from. Why not line him up more on the blind side of the quarterback? Because if I got the boogeyman behind me on the field, I think I'm going to be a little bit more jittery, knowing that Micah Parsons might be coming behind me, to sack me. So I'm a little, I don't know. I know I like to move them around, but do you know if there's a trend between putting them either on the blind side or non-blind side. But I just say, other than that, man, it was a great game, I thought.
Yeah, they've moved him around to the opposite side at times. They don't do it consistently. He usually takes on the best blocker, and that supposedly is what you do to free up Rashawn Gary, who then should have yeoman's work over on the blind side, because Rashawn Gary should be able to handle the lesser of the two tackles. Rashawn Gary, and appreciate the phone call, Rashawn Gary has not necessarily been the guy that was supposed to be Rashawn Gary at the beginning of the season was just a beast, and then all of a sudden he's just kind of gone away. I mean, he did. I will say this: he got in J.J. McCarthy's face twice today from the backside, and forced him up into the pocket and forced him into either one, a hit, or two, a bad throw. So Rashawn Gary did play well, but yeah, Micah Parsons. Put it this way: if you're going to put Micah Parsons on the weak side and Rashawn Gary on the strong side, all you're going to do is run away from. You're going to run towards your best tackle. Who's probably going to handle Rashawn Gary one-on-one. You're going to double team, or like today they had triple team. They had a tackle, a tight end, both blocking Micah Parsons, and then chipping him at times with Aaron Jones. He was getting triple teamed at times, and still twice he rolled through it. He spun into it and got through the gap, and was still able to put some pressure on J.J. McCarthy. But they move him around. Like I said, he came up the middle and put Ryan Kelly on his ass today. So, which was great to see. But by the way, the Detroit Lions have hit the field goal, and it is now tied with 18 seconds to go at 27 apiece. The Giants and the Lions right now, 27 apiece. So we'll see if they're able to kind of get downfield, kick a field goal, and knock the Lions off. And the Bears, like I had mentioned a couple of minutes ago, the Bears were just kind of hanging on, and I believe that game has now gone complete, and it has 31-28. The Bears to go to 8-3, and they have knocked off the Steelers 31-28. So the game that's in progress we're paying attention to is 27 apiece right now. The Lions at 6-4 against the Giants at 2-9 over there at Ford Field, and the Giants, who are now punting the ball away, throwing deep, I should say, with 13 seconds to go, trying to get into field goal range to knock off the Lions. But really good call, because they do move Micah Parsons around. I'd like to see him do it more, because I like it when he's free. But when he went over to Devontae Wyatt, he talked to Wyatt when they were going to rush two down linemen and Micah Parsons, and that's it. Everybody else was dropping back into coverage on that 3rd and long. And he pointed it out, and he said, this is the gap we're going to go. And he had Devontae Wyatt kind of on his hip, and they went straight up the gut, and then Devontae Wyatt split off to go around the guard, and they just bull rushed Ryan Kelly, and Micah Parsons putting him on his ass. I love that particular play. And you could hear the entire press box, which normally is quiet as a church mouse. The whole press was like, oh, because everybody saw it. You just saw it coming. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. I got some text messages to get to, phone calls to get to. Let's do this. Let's get to a couple of the text messages. A lot of people that are chiming in from all over the country, so we appreciate you being here. This one's out of the 920. Dare I say it? 4 complete quarters of football. 4 complete quarters, not totally complimentary, because I would have loved to have seen the offense sustain a few more drives, but a much, much, much better game. And it goes back to our call from Gerard earlier when people started talking about the play calling and conservativeness and such. Yes, I agree with you. The issue is you're banged up, and you're trying not to get your quarterback any more banged up, who's got a bad left shoulder. You're trying not. You don't have Josh Jacobs. You don't have Matthew Gold. You don't have Quay Walker. You got a lot of guys and starters that are down. Jaden Reed isn't back yet. You're trying to just get some guys back, try to keep yourself healthy, and get to this next game. Get over there in Detroit. Try to get a win on Thanksgiving Day. Then you get that little bit of a mini bye before you face then the Denver. What is it? The Chicago Bears. Then the Denver Broncos. Then the Chicago Bears again. Because your destiny right now is in your own hands. This one is out of the 612. What about a Jordan Love rollout? Nope, you're not going to do it today. Not going to happen, because you don't want to put Jordan Love in harm's way. He's got the bad shoulder right now. They talked about it during the game, and we were discussing it in the press box when we saw him out on the field during warm-ups. Like, he wasn't using that left shoulder hardly at all. Scott and DePere, way too much purple in the stands today. What happened to the Packers fans? There was a lot of purple there. I'll give you that. A lot of purple today. No doubt about it. There was quite a few Vikings fans that made their way over, or that live in the state of Wisconsin, one of the two. But nevertheless, there was a lot of purple in the stands today. I 110% agree with you. And by the way, you You cannot throw shade at the Milwaukee season ticket holders for this. The two biggest games when I have seen the most opposing fan jerseys has been the regular season ticket holder games and not the Milwaukee season ticket holder games. Just an FYI. So don't give any of that crap to the Milwaukee season ticket holders. 877-867-1670. Got some emails to get to too. This is from Curtis. Matt LaFleur is the poster child for not wanting to beat the opponent by too much. Just look at the play calling in the fourth quarter. No, they had the game. You're not going to do anything stupid. I get what you're saying, and I understand that in any normal circumstance, you're trying to get to Thursday. You're trying not to get anybody hurt. You're not rolling out Jordan Love. You're not putting him in the harm's way. You're not going to stick him in the pocket, trying to dance around and find receivers to get to. You're not going to do that. You're just going to grind it out. And if you pick up a third down, and it's great. If you don't, punt it away. You own the game at that point. And let's be honest, you and I both know you turn the ball over to the defense and you let the defense do their thing. It was smart today. It was smart. It was conservative. It was get in, get out, get a win. Don't get anybody hurt, and get ready for Thursday. That's exactly what he did. He checked all the boxes today. It's not pretty. I understand that, but that's not what you needed today. What you needed today was just be solid, get some guys work up front. You worked in Belton, you worked in Banks, you worked in Morgan. You got that starting front together again. You get them a little more familiarity because you got a big one coming up on Thanksgiving Day. I really like this win. I like this win for so many reasons. I know that's kind of looking at it through green and gold glasses, and you can call me a kiss ass or whatever it is, but on this program, I'm more outspoken than anybody. This today was just a win. That's all it was. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more. We are broadcasting live at Burkle Sports Bar and Grill. We're here in Green Bay, right behind Stadium View. Packers get themselves a win, 23-6. They are now 7-3-1 in the season. They're a game behind the Chicago Bears, who eked out a win today over the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mason Rudolph. Aaron Rodgers did not play in that contest today, so Aaron Rodgers didn't get a chance to start and continue to own the Chicago Bears. T.J. Watt did, by the way, get a sack today, a fumble recovery in the end zone for a safety, and in doing so, he ends up breaking J.J. Watt's record today of sacks, which was pretty cool, I guess, to have your brother on the call when your other brother breaks the sack record at Soldier Field. So that's kind of a neat thing. Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We are brought to you by our friends at Pella Windows and Doors. Go to PellaWI.com for everything that they offer, all the different lines, all the different makes, the models, the beautification, or just for home value. That's Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Get the free in-home consultation. Go to PellaWI.com. That is PellaWI.com. We got more of the Green and Gold postgame show live here at Burkle's coming up right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
First of all, it's the fact you mentioned betting. Gambling is legal for me to speak on it, so I don't know what the rules are. Oh, it is. So, what's going on?
Welcome back. Packers go to 7-3-1 on the season, and they end up knocking off the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings, and their season's pretty much done, to be perfectly honest with you. The Packers, not only, and again, I had mentioned this earlier, and I hate to beat the dead horse, but the Packers did a couple of things today. First and foremost, they got the win. They snapped the losing streak at home. They snapped the losing streak at home to the Vikings. You wanted to win in the division. You're 2-0 in the division, and you have just eliminated the Minnesota Vikings from really anything. Their season's pretty much come to an end when you think about it. I mean, the Vikings now, with the Packers being 7-3, and with the Vikings now 4-7. 4-7 with 6 games to go. They would basically have to win out just to be maybe eligible for a wild card. And we know that's not going to happen. So just to be eligible for a wild card is where the Vikings are at right now, to win every game from here on out. So you just knock the Vikings out of the postseason as well. Any postseason hopes. Now, they have to start looking, because they've got a lot of money invested in that team. And I think that was part of the broadcast, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of free agent money, or a lot of money, I should say, to certain players. And now they got to figure out if J.J. McCarthy's a guy. He's only got 6 starts under his belt, right? So now you're going to have to go out and find yourself most likely a backup quarterback that is formidable enough that if he does not take the jump next year, and you've got a pretty good team around him, do you stick with J.J. McCarthy? When J.J. McCarthy came into the league, I thought he was probably the most NFL-ready quarterback at the time. But now you look at his footwork is bad. He's constantly hopping. He's not settled in the pocket at all, and he looks confused. To be perfectly honest with you, he just looks confused. He looked great in the preseason when everybody's running vanilla, but he looks confused. The Packers moved guys around today. They had pressure coming from different areas today. Obviously, turning the ball over twice doesn't help you, but and our caller earlier is 100% correct. The Vikings had 145 total yards in the first half of this game, the majority of those yards on the ground. They looked at the Packers last week playing against the Giants, and they said, you know what? I think we can run the ball. And that's exactly what they did. When they ran it right at Green Bay in the first half of this contest. You go back to the first half of the game, and you look at where this thing was, and the Packers not really able to stop the run. In the first half of this game, the Vikings had 141 yards, and they had 55 yards on the ground, 62 through the air. So that's kind of where they were at. They had 86 yards running the ball, 55 yards throwing the ball. And when you look at the first half, they were able to move the ball and show a little momentum. The second half of this game, the Packers defense shut them down 4 yards. 4 yards. They ended up with 145 total yards on the day. 145 yards. They had 141 in the first half. That's all the Packers defense gave up. 4 yards in the second half of this ball game. That was it. And you also look, like I had mentioned a little bit earlier, Isaiah McDuffie today
played. Isaiah McDuffie, by the way, filling in for Quay Walker, wore the green dot today. He had 9 tackles, half a sack, quarterback hurry, had the interception, pass defended, everything. He just was checking the boxes across the board. Evan Williams today, 4 tackles. Colby Wooden, 4 tackles. 4 tackles, and he had a tackle for loss today, got into the backfield twice. So did Evan Williams, which was nice because they were able to shoot the gap against a decent, not great by any stretch of the imagination, offensive line. Then you got a guy like Micah Parsons with 2 sacks. He had a total of 2 tackles, but 2 sacks. He had 3 quarterback hurries himself. The very first play from scrimmage, he was after J.J. McCarthy, so he was in McCarthy's head the rest of the day. And also you got Devontae Wyatt with a couple of sacks today, too, had a big day. So defensively speaking, and when Keyshawn Nixon went down, Corey Valentine stepped in, and I thought he played really, really well against Justin Jefferson today. And if you saw Justin Jefferson last week explode, and he was a guy that was not happy with the pass game, not happy with the offense by any stretch of the imagination, today bounced back and kind of kept his cool, but clearly frustration on the sideline again today as well. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Find us. We'd love to hear from you. 877-867-1670. Give me a shout. Got some emails to get to. I want to get your voice to be heard. Rick says that I thought today was a solid win by the Green Bay Packers. It wasn't pretty, but then again in the NFC North, none of these games are going to be pretty. What is the underreaction or overreaction from Packers fans today? Right now, Rick, I think everybody was just happy with getting the win. Everybody's happy with snapping the home losing streak and beating the Vikings. Plus, like I said before, a lot of purple in the house today. This one's from, let's see here. We got some text messages to get to. This is from Cassidy. Cassidy says, my first time ever at Lambeau Field. What an incredible experience. A lot of Vikings fans that are going home sad. Great to listen to you all the way back to Minocqua. Appreciate it, Cassidy. Thanks for taking a listen to us. This was from Johnny. Johnny says they were putting pressure on McCarthy today. McCarthy is just bad. What are the Vikings going to do? Not too worried about that team, more worried about ours. But it's going to be sink or swim with McCarthy for years. I think McCarthy's got the rest of this season and getting off to a fast start next season before they say they'll pull the plug on that experience. And here's the reason why. Like I mentioned, they got a lot of money wrapped up in that team right now. They got a lot of money wrapped up in some of those contracts, and they're coming off of a 14-2 season. They didn't have that massive a drop-off other than the fact that they've got a quarterback that just doesn't play good quarterback. So they've got a lot of money wrapped up in that thing, and they're going to have to figure out if J.J. McCarthy's the guy or not. He's going to, like I said, and we talked to Mike Renner about this from Pro Football Focus earlier this week. And Mike Renner said the same thing in the analyzation of J.J. McCarthy. A lot of fast footwork. He moves at a very high pace. It's great to have that kind of energy. It's great to be that emphatic guy, that number 9 alter ego. That's great if you're winning. But when you're not, you look rushed, you look scared, you look nervous, you look unsure of yourself. And those are all the things that shine through today. So if you're a Vikings fan looking at this, you're probably thinking to yourself, this is all these signs from J.J. McCarthy that we thought were going to be so positive actually are turning out to be extremely negative. Let's do this. We're going to break. We're going to come back. Kevin O'Connell, we're going to hear from him. We're also going to hear from Jordan Love coming up. We got Matt LaFleur coming up in a little bit, and also Mike Clemens. I know Mike has been a little under the weather all week leading up to today's game. Mike is in the house today over inside the Packers locker room. So we'll get Mike coming out of the locker room, plus more of your calls, plus more of your emails, your text messages, all that kind of good stuff. Don't go anywhere. We got a whole lot more of the Green and Gold postgame show live here at Burkle Sports Bar and Grill. We got more coming up right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. We are glad you're with us. The Green Bay Packers get themselves a win. 23-6, they knock off the Minnesota Vikings at Lambeau Field. The Packers go to 7-3-1 on the season. Welcome in. It's the Green and Gold postgame show. We are live here at Burkle Sports Bar and Grill in Green Bay, right behind Stadium View, and good crowd in here, as a matter of fact. So I got this one's from Jesse, listening to us in Baroka. We're going to get to Kevin O'Connell here in just a second, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. But Jesse in Baroka said, and this is a good question. He said, the most impressive win in the NFC North today is who? And wouldn't you have to say, I mean, in all honesty, that it was the Packers? Packers at home, convincing win, defensive win. They gave up 4 yards in the second half of the ball game. You had the Giants, who were 2-10,
go into Ford Field and damn near knock off the Lions. It took the Lions overtime, a Jahmyr Gibbs big-time run to rip off a touchdown, 34-27. That game just now ended as Jameis Winston ended up taking a sack, and that was all she wrote. 34-27, the Lions get the win. They go to 7-4 in the season, still behind the Green Bay Packers. And then the Steelers, with Mason Rudolph, not Aaron Rodgers, go into Soldier Field and damn near pull off the upset, 31-28. The Bears, they got to win. They go to 8-3. Kudos to them. They're on top of the division, but the Packers still hold their fate in their own hands. But the Packers got to win. They ended the losing streak, not only at home, but against the Minnesota Vikings as well. And they did it in a convincing way. Wouldn't you have to say that the most impressive win today in the NFC North specifically was the Green Bay Packers getting the win and dominating defensively at home and doing it by running the football? That's a great question. So hopefully I did a little, at least explaining it, gave you a little bit of justice there. But that to me was that's probably the most impressive NFC North win today. Not overall, but today. 877-867-1670. Let's do this. Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, talking to the media. Take a listen.
I told our team after Will made that field goal, we go in at the half 10-6. Pretty even time of possession, even in the turnover battle. Whole half ahead of us, and then we did not play in any way, shape, or form the type of half that would give us a chance to compete in the second half. 2 turnovers and 3 punts on offense, and then defense got the stop that we kind of talked about at halftime, getting going. They got that stop to start the second half, and then we had that was pretty catastrophic turnover to give them a free chance at 7 points. So you're not going to come to Lambeau Field and win a game, especially playing like that in the second half, and absolutely not in any way, shape, or form giving ourselves a chance to win the football game. Just injury updates. Christian Darrisaw had an ankle that he tried to play through, and eventually he came out of the game. Donovan Jackson, I believe, also had an ankle on a foot and was trying to come back in the game, but trainers thought it would be best to hold him out as well. And then Metellus had a shoulder, but was battling through that and able to return. I'll turn it over to you guys.
With the offensive performance in the second half, how difficult is it right now trying to call what you think JJ can perform and just keep the offense?
Yeah, I think there's things that by running the football pretty efficiently in the first half, you think you might be able to get some plays off of plays to generate some explosives, but at the same time, we wanted to come back out and run the football, and we had, a negative run, have to get Jordan down there, give him a chance to get down there to get that buzz safety on a negative run. Called a quick game to start the half, trying to see if we can just get a completion play to get it going, and we took a sack on that play, and then had back-to-back negatives are very, very hard to overcome, especially against that group. When you end up 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 17, whatever we were. Not the formula in any way, shape, or form. Tried to, I thought we did a good job committing to the run early on in the game. Stacked some plays on plays and started to feel kind of what that can do for you along the line of scrimmage. But then we get to after running the ball pretty well consistently on a drive, we get to a third and inside one and don't get it on the sneak, that we practiced a lot, and then don't get it on 4th down, end up going backwards, really. So no matter what you do, running the football-wise, if you can't continue to get those new sets of downs, we've got to then have the marriage of the run and the pass, try to come to life. And there were some chances, I thought. JJ got tripped up coming out of center one time where, we had a good look for a play, and there was just a bunch of little things like that. Our margin of error is clearly pretty razor thin right now. But what we can't do is lose the turnover battle 3-0, significantly lose the field position battle, and then have negative plays on offense that gives you really no chance against one of the better defenses in the league. But, as our guys know, and, already hearing, just the players in the locker room, and they want to go back to work and fix it. And us as a coaching staff, we got to give them the best possible plan to do that. We've got to have some things corrected that are proving to be somewhat fatal in certain areas of our team right now. Well beyond just having a young quarterback in there. So that's my job, and I've got to do the things that we think will fix some of those problems.
Mistakes 3 weeks in a row now, pretty big ones. What do you need to do to get those things cleaned up?
Yeah, we've got some rookies, part of that phase where to a certain extent you kind of know there's going to be some variance to that, but at the same time, it's just what are we doing as coaches? What are we doing, to emphasize how to play smart football, as the starting point. And on that play, I know what Miles is trying to do. He's trying to fair catch and then see if he can get a piece of the gunner to try to help the ball have time to get in the end zone. But first and foremost, we've got to be able to make the initial play, which was the decision not to catch that ball, and then we've got to get all Minnesota Vikings away from it. And if they end up downing it, like we were able to do a couple times with Ryan having a great day punting the ball to try to help with the field position. But if they end up downing it down in there tight, then it's on the offense to try to sustain a drive and at least flip the field position-wise. But, yeah, we've got to get some of those things handled.
There you go. That's Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, just answering a few questions after the game and basically saying, look, they had offensive issues today. They couldn't get things done with J.J. McCarthy. They obviously had a big mistake in special teams. How about special teams today? Can we just for a moment just like pause together as a Packers nation and say special teams helped this team today? Can we say that for a second? When you look at it, special team. And oh, by the way, when it came to penalties today, how many did the Green Bay Packers have? 2 penalties today. 2 penalties, and special teams helped you and actually converted today. That checks boxes, right? That checks boxes. You don't ever see that. So the Green Bay Packers in a lot of different phases today played well. And I'm just kind of reading some of the messages over on the live stream. And look, I know when people are talking about can Matt LaFleur run the score up again. For those that are joining us late today, you're missing Josh Jacobs, you're missing Quay Walker, you're missing Matthew Golden, you don't have Jaden Reed, you don't have Tucker Kraft, you're mixing and matching your offensive line with Belton and Banks. You're moving guys around. So today was a day in which you could run the football, you ground out a win, special teams contributed, and you were up. There was no reason to start putting. And plus, your quarterback has a bad left shoulder. He's handing off with the right hand. All you wanted to do was grind out a win, get the win, and move on. You got to play another game in 4 days. There was no reason to be able to turn around and all of a sudden start throwing the ball all over the place today and risk getting your quarterback hurt by getting him sacked or having him run out of the pocket and take another hit on that shoulder. No reason to do it. It was a smart game plan by Matt LaFleur. And the fact is they won 23-6 in what's considered to be somewhat of a blowout because these two teams, as I had mentioned all week long, most of the time these two teams play one another, it's a one-score game by the time it's all said and done. So this was a good win. This was a solid. This was a win that you can't find a lot to complain about. You can say, okay, there was a missed block here. Banks had one. Ryan had one. A couple of them by Jordan Morgan, especially on a couple of third downs. You can talk about a couple of whiffs, but you only had 2 penalties. Your special teams contributed. Your quarterback didn't get hurt any further than what it is. Josh Jacobs wasn't needed. Emmanuel Wilson ran the hell out of the football today. You established yourself as an offensive line. There was a lot of good that came out of today's ball game, and you don't poo-poo that. So I thought that was a good grinded out style of win. And going back to the whole quarterbacking thing, and I see people arguing over on the live stream about whether or not Jordan Love's a good or a bad quarterback. Look, last week Jordan Love played really, really well. In case you weren't watching or paying attention, or maybe you just don't know football, played extremely well. Today he did all he had to do. The only thing he missed was the blitz in which he did not pick up the untouched blitz that got Emmanuel Wilson basically drilled in the backfield. He should have seen that coming and changed the blocking at the line of scrimmage. That was the one thing he specifically missed. Other than that, I thought he played a pretty solid game for only being able to use basically one side of his body. So understand the circumstance before you start going off because the win wasn't big enough for you sitting at home. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We're going to hear from Jordan Love. We got Matt LaFleur. We got Mike Clemens all coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's the Green and Gold postgame show. It's brought to you by our friends at Point Brewing. Brewing excellence since 1857. Stick with the hometown team right here in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Point Brewing. Brewing excellence since 1857. We'll be back right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Packers go to 7-3-1 on the season. They get a 23-6 win, and they ended up knocking off the Minnesota Vikings, who now go to 4-7 on this season. This portion of the program brought to you by Suburban Harley-Davidson in Thiensville. Go to suburbanharley.com. This time of year, the holidays are coming around, and if you're looking for a new bike, which would be the ultimate gift, or maybe you're looking for motor clothes or just things to put under the tree or stuff a stocking with, that's our friends at Suburban Motors. Go to suburbanharley.com. That is suburbanharley.com. 50-plus years in the neighborhood. Family-owned, community-minded. Go to suburbanharley.com. Suburban Harley-Davidson on Main Street in Thiensville. Now, this is from Mark. Mark said, what did this do to the Vikings' chances at getting into the postseason? It basically, Mark, it all but eliminated them. Look at it this way. The top 7 teams get in, as we all know. The Eagles are the top dog right now in the NFC. You got the Rams, who are leading the division out west, the Bears, who are leading the division in the north, and that I would assume is going to change. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're leading in the south. Seattle is 8-3 right now, one loss behind the Rams, who actually play a little bit later on tonight.
You got San Francisco, or then the Green Bay Packers at number 6 at 7-3-1. And then the 49ers right now, who have a tiebreaker over Detroit based on a win percentage in the conference games. So that would leave Detroit, as of right now, Detroit at 7-4 would be out of the postseason if this postseason were to begin today. The Minnesota Vikings are then behind Carolina, Dallas, both. Dallas is 4-5-1. Carolina is 6-5. The Minnesota Vikings are 4-7. So for basically the Vikings to get in, they got to win out. They got to win their next 6 straight to get to 10 wins on the season. Doubtful, very, 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 very doubtful that is going to happen unless all of a sudden the light bulb goes off and J.J. McCarthy becomes the guy. I don't see it happening, but, stranger things have happened. But I'm not going to say they're completely eliminated, but they are really, really close to becoming eliminated totally. I mean, mathematically, from this even becoming any kind of a discussion point at this point. Meanwhile, the Packers, as of right now, are in, but a big, big, big game coming up this Thanksgiving Day in 4 days when they take on the Detroit Lions over there Thanksgiving morning. We all get a chance to get up, start cooking the turkey, start getting the stuffing in, start making the gravy and everything else that goes along with it, and hopefully watch the Packers yet again get a really solid win over in Detroit. Remember the last time these two teams matched up, this was the coming out party for Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur as they dominated in that game over there. And that was a game I remember because I did the post-game show. I was actually in New England at the time, visiting some in-laws, some family and friends. And I was over in New England doing the post-game show. And what an amazing game that was, because I remember starting the show off saying, where in hell has this team been all season long? Matt LaFleur also, take this into consideration. Matt LaFleur is the winningest coach in the NFC since 2019 from week 12 on. From week 12 on. He's the third winningest coach in the NFL from week 12 on. From 2019 to today, he's the third winningest coach. The only two guys that have him beat, Andy Reid in Kansas City and Sean McDermott in Buffalo. The third winningest coach in the NFL from week 12 on has been Matt LaFleur. Today, and again, we've gone over this almost ad nauseum at this point, but a relatively conservative play calling effort in the sense of your quarterback is already banged up. You don't have Josh Jacobs. Your offensive line's mix and match and all the different injuries you had coming into this one. I thought it was a really solid victory. And we talked about the irony of it. Oh, by the way, only 2 penalties. And then you've got a special teams play today that gave you the ball deep into Vikings territory that you were able to convert into points as well. So a lot of things positive to talk about coming out of today's game. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to the Wisconsin Badgers as well. Not 1, but 2 top 25 victories in this season. And Camp Randall erupted yesterday as they knocked off, more sweeter than anything, the Illinois Fighting Illini, but Brett Bielema's Fighting Illini, who were ranked, and the Badgers gave them a swift gut punch yesterday. And the Badgers are starting to put something together. Maybe this is going to be something that kind of leapfrogs them into next season, but a kudos to the win by Luke Fickell and the Wisconsin Badgers as well. Out of the Thomas says, Wilson, a beast today. Yes, you give him all the credit in the world. And he even at one point pulled himself out of the game. I don't know if you saw that, but he took a hit on the sideline. And really, he got hit, but he fell on the ball. I think he just knocked the wind out of himself. But Emmanuel Wilson today, 28 carries, 107 yards. He ground them out, man. 2 touchdowns, 3.8 yards per carry. Brooks came in, did a nice job. Just kind of sustained 8 carries, 21 yards, 2.6 yards per carry. His longest run of the day was a 10-yard run. Jordan Love scrambled for 15 today. Malik Willis had a couple. Savion Williams had 1 carry, didn't really do anything with it, but they always seem to run that. But 146 yards on the ground, 107 of them through Emmanuel Wilson today. Jordan Love, not anything spectacular. He was 14 of 21. He threw 3 of them away. So 14 of 21, 7 incomplete passes, only 4 really incomplete. 3 of them he just tossed out of bounds. So for 139 yards, sacked 1 time today. His longest of the day was an 18-yard pass. It wasn't chuck it downfield and, try to get it over to the top to Christian Watson or anything like that. I'll say this, the 2 catches Dontavian Wicks had today for 32 yards, the one being that 18-yard pickup. Dontavian Wicks is, to me, he's not your speed guy, but he's a hell of a route runner. And when he's 100% healthy, he's a really good receiver. He's a really good receiver. And once you get Jaden Reed back, Watson's good, Wicks is good, Dobbs is good. You get Fitzpatrick into the mix, Musgrave a little more into the mix. Musgrave today, 2 targets, 1 catch, 7 yards, nothing to write home about. But once you get all that going and you have a run game with an offensive line that's a little more sustainable, you might be able to make some kind of a run. I'm not saying that this team's any kind of a Super Bowl team at this point, but you might be able to make some kind of a run. You might be able to do some damage and see how much better they get down the road. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. AJ in Janesville, okay with vanilla game plan, assuming that they are saving some stuff for Thursday. AJ, they're not saving anything. What they were saving was they just wanted to grind it out. And it's not like they're saving the playbook. The playbook is the playbook. But what they're saving is injuries. You can't do a lot with a quarterback that's nursing a bad shoulder. He's handing off with his right hand, kind of almost backwards, because the left shoulder is bothering him, taking that hit on that turf over there at MetLife, which, again, is craptastic turf. That's the turf that we saw get Aaron Rodgers. That's the turf that had the deep bone bruise on Josh Jacobs' knee. And that's the turf when he went to the ground. That's the turf that had no give and banged up the shoulder of Jordan Love as well. So I'm not talking about like throwing the like you say, throw the kitchen sink at Detroit. You just want to make sure that you got out of this particular game as injury-free as you could possibly get. Don't risk it, so to speak, when you didn't have to be perfectly honest with you, when you just told your defense, go get them. And remember, you got to go back and play on turf again. That is probably the third or fourth most unforgiving turf in the National Football League. I know they just changed it out, just like Paycor did down in Cincinnati, but this was the same turf years ago, in that same setting years ago. That was kind of the same as MetLife. That was a very unforgiving turf. They've changed it over, but it's still one of the harder surfaces in the National Football League. Let's see here. This is from Clark. Clark says, hey, Bill, first of all, happy Thanksgiving coming up. I don't know if we're going to be able to chime in during the postgame show on Thursday, but we're definitely going to be listening as the family gathers around the bird and stabs the hell out of the beast, hopefully after the Packers do the same to the Lions. Okay, well, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Love that. This one's James. James says, hey, guys, are we forgetting? Oh, I talked about this. He said, are we forgetting about something? The special teams did not cost us today. The punt game was really, really good. And then they had the coverage team, which did an excellent job of getting downfield and getting the ball back, and was heads up enough to know that the ball had touched the Vikings player to be able to dive on it and give the Packers points. Kudos to Rich Bisaccia's crew today. You got to give credit where credit is due. And by the way, McManus was successful today as well, in case you didn't know. And I also, for those that follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, I posted that earlier today. I was watching McManus warming up, not just in warm-ups without pads on, but with pads on. And he was into the north end zone. He was kicking 56-yarders pretty consistently. Into the south end zone today, he was kicking anywhere from 55 to 60 consistently today as well. Randy from Necedah, very happy with the win. Division games are usually a slugfest. I thought the decision to have McManus kick a couple of field goals instead of going for it on fourth down was also a good decision, as it got McManus on track and tested his accuracy yet again, which, again, now you take that and you go into Ford Field where he's, indoors in a controlled environment on turf. You get a little more success and you get a little more knowledge as to where he's at as opposed to his recovery goes. And you get a little more, a little bit more confidence going into that game coming up on Thursday as well. So I like that. 877-867-1670. Right. Kudos to special teams. I can hardly believe it. And congratulations, by the way, to all the high school teams that participated the last couple of days and won state championship, and even the ones that didn't. Kudos just to getting to Camp Randall and representing your school and your area in the state competition. So it was an absolutely fantastic weekend of football in the state of Wisconsin. A lot of champions crowned. The Badgers get themselves a win, and the Green Bay Packers get themselves a win as well. All right, we got another hour yet to go. When we come back, we're going to hear from Matt LaFleur. We're going to hear from Jordan Love. We're going to hear from Mike Clemens over inside the locker room. Don't go anywhere. We are broadcasting live at Burkle Sports Bar and Grill here in Green Bay. It's brought to you by our friends at Marquardt RV. Go to marquardtrv.com, MarQuart RV.com. More of the Green and Gold postgame show coming up right after this.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Dariana. We call him Day Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council. What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad.
158, go! Green 18! Green 19,
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Packers get a win, 23-6. They go to 7-3-1 in the season. The Vikings are now at 4-7. And unless they win out, their chances of going to the postseason this year have been eliminated by the Green Bay Packers. Meanwhile, you've got the Bears getting a win today, eking out a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Mason Rudolph. Aaron Rodgers did not play in that contest down at Soldier Field. And then barely getting a win in overtime was the Detroit Lions, as they almost got knocked off by Jameis Winston and company, and they were able to eke out a win on a long Jahmyr Gibbs run in overtime that gave the Lions the victory. But for the most part, it was the Packers who dominated in the NFC North today. Again, 23-6, special teams getting a contribution. The Packers were able to grind out yardage. They only had 2 penalties on the day. Just a lot of things were clean. We're going to hear from Matt LaFleur coming up here momentarily, so don't go anywhere. Matt LaFleur is going to come up here in just a couple of minutes, and you're going to hear that conversation. Got a lot to get to. First of all, thanks for watching us. We certainly appreciate you being here. We're live at Burkle Sports Bar and Grill here in Green Bay, and was just a stone's throw away from Lambeau Field. So if you're in the area and you're listening to us and you're checking us out on the Wisco Sports Zone app, that's where you can find us, Wisco Sports Zone, unless you're, of course, we're on in some of the municipalities and some of the cities that we have our great affiliates all over the great state of Wisconsin. You can always track us down in those areas as well. Or you can check us out. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. And please subscribe. We love it when you subscribe to us. And, if we come on and you want to watch us, great. If not, just swipe us to the side and we're good to go until the next time. Or you can check it out later. You can also find us 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Hit us up there. You can text us 608-321-1670. 608-321-1670. Like I said, we're on Wisco Sports Zone. WISCO, Wisco Sports Zone. 3 words, put them all together. And, by the way, for those of you listening around the country, we certainly would appreciate it if you pay attention for just a minute. The pop-up store ends on Wednesday night at midnight. It ends on Wednesday night at midnight. Now, if you didn't know we had one, for all the Bill Michaels Show gear, it also supports Big Unit Foundation, which supports our military members, our veterans, their first responders, and their families. So if you go there and you just go to thebillmichaels.com, thebillmichaels.com, scroll down, you'll see the placard that says pop-up store. You can click on it. We got men's clothing, women's clothing, and teenagers, kids' clothing, and all that kind of stuff. Hats and shirts and quarter zips and jackets, and you name it, we've got it. But $5 out of every item goes directly to military members, veterans, first responders, and their families. So to Big Unit Foundation. So we're not making any profit off of this whatsoever. We marked it all down and then added $5 to everything, and that was it. That's all we did. And the pop-up store, by the way, for those that want gear, maybe for somebody who listens to the program, who listens to the postgame show, whatever, that $5 will come out of every item, and it goes to Big Unit Foundation. But the pop-up store only lasts until midnight, into Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then that's it. It goes away. So we had a 3-week run. We hope to sell as much as we can. We were hoping to raise about $1,500-$1,600, and we're well over $2,000, which is fantastic. But the more the better. I get greedy when it comes to the charity side of things. So if you're thinking about it, by all means, for somebody on the holidays, please get it, and we'll get it out to you. And that way you can stick it under the tree
and somebody who listens to the program and enjoys it, maybe get something really cool for the holidays. So we appreciate it. All right, let's do this. Matt LaFleur talking to the media. Here's what Matt LaFleur had to say.
So just really proud of our guys. When you look at the game in terms of all three phases contributed to that win. It's never easy going against a division rival and a team that has beat us twice in a row at Lambeau. So that felt really good, and told them you can enjoy it for a couple hours, but really today's Wednesday in our world, so that it's a quick turnaround. So guys got to try to get their bodies back. We'll get together as a team tomorrow, and we're off and on to Detroit.
When did you know that Josh would be able to play there?
About 9:45-ish. Not necessarily, no. I try to, I mean, the conversations I had with him, I just said, hey, man, you got to let me know in terms of where you're at. He's always going to fight to play. He was fighting to play. He just, there was just a little apprehension, I felt. And so we thought it was the best thing to do to not put him in that position. He did a great job. I thought Chris Brooks went in there and ran hard as well. It was kind of a weird game where our defense really had control of the football game. I've never called the same run so many times consecutively. It was like 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but it was effective. And bottom line was, I just thought with the way our defense was playing, we just took the air out of the ball and said, go win it for us.
Why were you?
Okay, that's a great question, Spoon. So a couple of those, sometimes we have some run pass cans. They don't give us the look, and then you end up running the football. There was one in the red area where it was 3rd and 3. We called the run, and we lost yards. So I was thinking we had 2 downs. So it really treated it like 2nd down, but we went backwards, and I didn't want to. With just the score of the game, I thought it was smart to take the points there. I think we were up 11 to make it a 14-point game. And then the other one was we weren't sure about the catch on the sideline, whether or not we caught the ball or not. So we jumped the ball. Unfortunately, we missed a block right at the point of attack. That should have been accounted for. And that was, I would say, the thing that disappointed me the most in some of those critical situations. I mean, we had a pass play canned to the run, and we don't block. I think it was Eric Wilson or Mike linebacker, and he just runs through and stuffs our back in the hole. He should be accounted for. We don't target him, and unfortunately, that was the result. So that led to a punt. Now you could look at the other side. I think that was the punt where we recovered the fumble. So maybe somebody was looking out for us.
You mentioned the word take the air out of the ball. As an aggressive guy who wants to be aggressive, how hard is it to do that, to be disciplined in that?
It's extremely hard, but I thought it was the best thing to do for our football team.
How much did the turnover on the punt, just how much did that change?
That changed the entire game. I can't say enough about that play. It was a great punt, first of all, by Daniel. And then Zane Anderson, his ability to drive his man into the football and then somehow come up with it. And I thought that was the play of the game. That was the difference maker right there.
You don't come into a game, obviously, just wanting to take the air out of the ball. At what point today did you kind of look and realize, defense, if we just do this, kind of change this approach here, this is going to be good for us?
Yeah, I think once we got a lead and, just as effective as our pass rush. I mean, this is the first time in a while where I thought our guys could kind of pin their ears back and just go. And so, I mean, it just goes to show you the importance of getting a lead where you put a team into some situations where they're, feel like they have to throw the football.
I know you're always trying to score. How do you game plan so that happens more often? So,
wow. That is the question. If somebody can help me, that'd be great. I mean, what do you think we're doing, Pete? Not trying to get a lead? I mean, Yeah, absolutely it did. We had 3 possessions in the first half. I mean, it's one of those, it's like a lot of these games this year, like where possessions are at a premium. We had long drives on all of them. Unfortunately, had 10 points. Wish we could score every time we had the ball.
You're going to probably get in some games where maybe it's cold outside and you need to do what you did today, which was run the ball. I mean, did you feel like you got any kind of imposing your will at all up front, or do you think you're still kind of?
No, I thought there were moments where we absolutely did that. And they were bringing blitzes and safety blitzes and, trying to move the front. A couple times it got us. But I thought all in all, like, our guys did a really good job up front.
Guard in a game before. What did you see that made you feel okay about rotating him and actually keeping him in there then?
I just think it's his style of play and how he's a mauler and he does a great job. I love the way he plays the game, and certainly that's going to be something we got to look at the tape and see how it fared for us. But he's done a great job.
Have anything to do with the line where you worried about that getting?
Not necessarily. I would say no.
The way that Valentine covered Jefferson after Keyshawn went out.
I thought both those guys did an outstanding job. Really, really, really proud of their efforts. Kamal, I would say this about Kamal. Kamal has made as much progress as the player that we've had. Just to see where he's come from to where he is now. And I think it's totally reflective in terms of how he's approached coming in the building on a daily basis. He practices the right way. He approaches it the right way. Really proud of him. I think CV's done a hell of a job ever since his role's been expanded. He's answered the bell. So 2 guys that are young players and a lot of confidence in. Team. That guy is amazing. And I thought Minnesota did a good job too. Like some of those punts they had were precision. I mean, we had one on the 2-yard line, another one on was it the 7-yard line or whatever. So there was moments for them as well. But I thought, I just can't say enough about that play Zane Anderson made on that punt. Yeah, absolutely. We had a bunch of opportunities a week ago, and tonight, or today, we made them pay. So that was anytime you're +3 on the ball, you should win the game.
I mean, 34 stops.
That was critical. Just big time plays. They tried to run the ball, and the guys stepped up and stoned them at the line of scrimmage. Maybe. I think every game's a little bit different. I think, each defense is a little bit different. But yeah, I just, to be able to call as many runs as we did, I think that shows the confidence that we had in our line. I thought our line was doing a pretty good job for the most part, and it's never going to be perfect, but I thought just we did what we had to do to win the football game.
You've done these Thanksgiving games enough now. What's the challenge going on a Thursday game when you've had 11 games?
I would say it's a big time challenge, but it's the same for both. So, short week, quick turnaround.
There you go. That is Matt LaFleur talking to the media after the contest, and just a lot of discussion there about obviously the win, the way special teams played, the quick turnaround, many things that are going to be happening in just a matter of a few days, as a matter of fact. So Matt LaFleur obviously in a very good mood after his team had somewhat of a dominating win as well. 23-6, the final. The Packers knock off the Minnesota Vikings. Packers now 7-3-1 on the season. The Vikings fall to 4-9 on the season. Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. When we get back, Jordan Love, you're going to hear that conversation coming up. The quarterback who was nursing that sore left shoulder, and it hindered him a little bit today. There was no doubt about it. Hopefully it gets a couple extra days to rest up, and then is even that much better coming up on Thursday against Detroit. Stay tuned. The Green and Gold postgame show live here at Burkle Sports Bar and Grill. We're in Green Bay, just a stone's throw away from Lambeau Field, right behind Stadium View. Stop on in and say hi. We've got more coming up right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute.
The season, and Lambeau was excited to say the very least. To Lambeau Field, a good feeling coming out of Lambeau Field today. A lot of happy Packers fans here inside Burkle Sports Bar and Grill. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Derek says that this was a good win for the Green Bay Packers. Everybody complaining about the style points. Need to understand the situation. You wanted to keep your quarterback healthy, and you wanted to get ready for the game coming up on Thursday. That is going to be a bigger game against a foe that you've already beaten once this season, which is 100% true. Derek, which is what we've kind of hit upon a couple of times, 100% true, without a doubt, that this team just needs to wanted to get out of this game healthy, wanted to get out. You were already banged up coming into this contest. You were already looking at things through the lens of we were missing Josh Jacobs, you're missing Reed, obviously. You're missing Tucker Kraft, who's gone down. You have guys that have been defensively. Quay Walker was down in this game. You're starting Isaiah McDuffie, who was basically calling the plays today. He was the guy wearing the green dot. You wanted to be able to play a stout defense, put pressure on J.J. McCarthy, maybe get a turnover because you knew he would give you one if indeed they ended up putting the ball in his hands pretty consistently, and he did down the stretch a couple of times. So you wanted to be able to do everything that you could to stymie him, to pressure him, to get at him a couple of times. Special teams came up big today. Can't believe I'm saying that. It's like my tongue should snap off as I begin to state that. And then in addition to that, you only had a couple of penalties. I mean, you checked a lot of the boxes. You got a solid win, and you won in the division. You're 2-0 in the division. You snapped the home losing streak. You snapped the home losing streak against the Vikings specifically. So now you just take it and you move on and you get ready for the Detroit Lions, as Matt LaFleur just got finished saying. Let's do this. Jordan Love had a chance to meet with the media and end up, kind of talking about, I'm sure there's going to be some questions about the shoulder. I'm sure he's going to avoid it. But nevertheless, Jordan Love talking to the media after the ball game. Here's what he had to say.
Took a couple of hits, but, I feel good right now. It was great. It was amazing. I think you hold a team to 6 points. It was great, and to be able to come up with so many turnovers like that, especially in the second half, it was a big time job by everybody on the defense. And obviously, I'm not sure how many sacks we had, but they're getting after them, and so it's a great job by them.
Jordan, when did you learn that during the week that Josh would be playing today?
Yeah, we found out today. I think they wanted to push all the way to game time and kind of see what the status would be for him. And I found out today.
What's your level of confidence in a guy like Emmanuel just to give him a week, especially what he did with it?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think he obviously did a lot of great things last week, and he's the guy that we got confidence in. And for him to be able to find out that as well, that Josh wouldn't be going, I think mentally he was preparing all week to be the guy, and then to find out and come out here and have over 100 yards and break off some of the runs he did was pretty cool. So great job by him and stuff to just keep building on and keep being ready for whenever that opportunity is going to present itself for him and to take advantage of the more carries he got.
Jordan, had you guys talked going into this game about running the ball on third down, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, or was that more a result of what Emmanuel was doing, on those drives?
Yeah, I think some of it was just, the way we were running it on early downs. And I think you just kind of keep flowing with that momentum and keep trying to pound it. And O-line was doing a great job on them. So just keep trusting that. Obviously, defense was balling out, getting a lot of stops. So I think that plays a part in it too. But yeah, I think they're just kind of imposing their will up front, and we just got to keep rolling with that.
How the defense was playing offensively, do you get into this mindset of if you just avoid the mistake? I know you always want to make plays, but just avoiding mistakes is going to be good enough.
Definitely. I think the mindset always going into it is, like we say, winning the turnover battle. And I think we did that today. And then, like you said, you get into it and defense is balling like that, coming up with stop after stop. That mindset is just keep taking care of the ball, don't make mistakes, and, and defense playing like that, like I said, yeah, you definitely just got to be smart in those situations. Keep trying to do what you're doing. If a big play presents itself, take it, but just be smart at the end of the day.
Jordan, I'm sure you guys were disappointed that the start of the second half you guys stalled out, but then just kind of what was the mindset, the reaction to getting the turnover off the punt deep in their territory?
Definitely disappointing. You know, you want to be able to go out second half, get the ball and drive it down and take advantage of getting that ball back right there. And we didn't do that. And then obviously right after that, you know, getting the ball back on the punt, you know, Zane coming up with that and putting us right there inside the 10-yard line. And, you know, those are the ones where you got to capitalize. You got to take advantage of that opportunity. And that's the complimentary ball we've been talking about, you know, taking advantage of special teams, you know, getting a turnover, and we capitalized on it. So it was great.
On some of those third and threes, third and fours, are you just assuming, or are you just counting on beating an 8-man front? Is that what you're getting, you know, in those situations? They're coming up, and you just have to beat that some way or another?
Yeah, you know, we had some plays called, and we're trying to take advantage of some of the things they showed earlier in the game. And, you know, sometimes they switch the calls up, and we weren't getting that. And, you know, when you get that, that's when you just got to try and find a way and block the front, and the running back just try and punch a hole through that and find a way to get those first. But like I said before, you know, we kind of just leaned on that run game and try to just keep going with it, and keep finding ways to, you know, pick up those first downs.
Jordan, how much did the shoulder affect you today? And I safe to assume that that's why you were handing off right-handed?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it didn't affect me too much. You know, took a couple hits on it, but was fine for the most part.
Pretty big game coming up this week on a short week. How long do you even give yourself to enjoy this one?
Yeah, I mean, like you always say, you enjoy it today. And like you said, very short week against very good Lions team. So, you know, obviously the prep is got to get started today, and everybody's trying to get their bodies back, get back healthy as quickly as possible. But, you know, short weeks are always tough. But, you know, we'll definitely enjoy this win. But like we said, you know, it's a good stretch of NFC North games right here that we got to go out there and find a way to go 1-0 next week as well. But the mindset's always to get back as quickly as possible, start studying for Detroit, and try and get your body back as quickly as possible.
Is there another gear to hit offensively, and how do you get there on a short week? I'm assuming the Lions are going to score more than 6 points than, you know, like the Vikings did today.
Yeah, you know, you just got to take, you know, advantage of what we see from Detroit and have a good game plan going into it. But, yeah, you always want to be at your best as offense, and, you know, we'll see how the game goes.
Did you enjoy playing with a lead for the majority of this game rather than having to kind of go back and forth like the last two games?
Yeah, I definitely think it's fun playing with a lead, for sure, you know. And you just got to keep finding ways, keep going, keep trying to put up as many points as possible. But, yeah, playing with a lead, playing when the defense is doing what they're doing, it feels good, and be able to go out there and get a win, and it feels great.
Was Christian double? Did they have someone over the top on him most of the day from what you could see?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a product of some of their coverages. They did a lot of cover two, where, you know, they'll have the safeties over the top. So I don't think it was anything just to take away, you know, Christian specifically. I think that was just some of the coverages we got a lot of today.
Some of those times when they're playing off him, is that something you knew? I mean, just take the 9 yard. A couple times you just took the 7-8 yard gain if they were playing off, or you ran the little.
Yep, definitely. You know, you're trying to take advantage of the coverages we're seeing, and you know, if they're going to play soft, we did a good job. You know, kind of just taking some of those completions underneath, be able to keep the sticks moving. But yeah, I think they did a good job trying to take away some of those deeper throws today, and we did a good job responding to some of the coverages we got.
Value in winning different ways. When you beat these guys New Year's Eve a few years ago, you were beating the blitz with deep throws. Last year they beat you, and this is a different type of way to win for sure.
Yeah, you know, I think I said earlier in the week, I think for them as a defense, I think they've done a good job of every year just kind of evolving and, you know, finding ways to, you know, find out how the offense was attacking them and kind of adjust as a defense. And I think they've done a good job. They're a really good defense. You know, one of those defenses, you just kind of never know what you're going to get on every play, and you got to be ready for a lot of different pressures, a lot of different looks. But yeah, you know, we've done some different things over the years, and I think they've adjusted and played different coverages and different things. So I think we did a good job on just finding completions and obviously taking care of the football today against them. But good defense, you know, and we'll have another chance to see them again.
You guys haven't had an opening drive touchdown since Dallas. What was different today, and how much did that set the tone?
Yeah, you know, I think you always want to start the game with that. You know, we always have that mindset of starting fast. And, you know, before it's been, we try to get the ball at first and go down and score a touchdown. You know, I feel like that sets you up great, you know. And then obviously today they started with it, went down with the field goal. And then we got it back and went down with a touchdown. So I think it just sets up the game, gives you that momentum, and puts the pressure back on the other team.
Jordan, when you see your defense playing as well as they were and you have a lead, is there any extra caution that you play with or just being a little bit more careful to not give them an easy turnover or something like that?
Definitely. That's always my
job the offensive line did as a whole.
They did great. Sean obviously stepping in there. Like you said, the snaps were on point all day. It's another tough week for him with just all the different looks we're getting and the calls he has to make. So I think he did a good job. There's going to be room for improvement. Like you said, AB getting a lot of reps in there at guard. But I think they did a great job. And obviously, like you said, to be able to just run the ball like we did at the end of the game and keep leaning on that, just the confidence and the trust we got in them to be able to keep leaning on that. But Sean's done a great job, and obviously we'll keep, finding ways to improve and get better and our communication, have great communication and make sure everybody's on point. But they did a great job as a whole.
Two more. Room for improvement. Is there anything off the top of your head that sticks out?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at penalties. We did a great job today. We had two, and I think one was just communication. Everybody just being really both of them, just communication. Everybody being focused on the details, and I think we did a great job with ball security. But we just got to find ways to keep executing. I think on some of the third downs, there's still plays to be had out there that we missed on. Where I think we've done a great job all season on third down, but there's always room for improvement. You want to be able to go out there and execute every third down, stay on the field, and keep those drivers alive. So there's stuff to be had right there, and we'll get another out next week.
I know you were trying to peek at the score, but with everything with the defense and with the way the game was being, the way you guys were running the ball, you said about not making mistakes. Is that an actual conversation on the sideline? Like, does Matt talk to you guys? Because you're a competitor, you obviously want to be slinging it something. Do you guys talk about that, or is that just assumed because you guys are smart enough to know?
No, it's definitely something we talk about on the side and just mention it. And, it's just, for me, that mindset of having a little bit extra caution to not even take some unneeded risks, if you will say. But it's definitely a conversation. But guys all have that mindset. We want to go out there, be aggressive on every time, but you got to find ways to win these games, and that's what was needed today. Thank you, guys.
There you go. That's Jordan Love talking to the media, and a couple of things that you got out of that was, one, the shoulder obviously bothering him. It was about 9:45 this morning they found out that Josh Jacobs was not going to be the running back. So he really was pretty much a game-time decision when they started to announce the inactives, and he just wasn't able to go. Also, he talked about Sean Ryan specifically, and I thought that was interesting because as much as we talked about, you had a missed block, but for the most part you played pretty well. But the one thing that Jordan Love alluded to is like, hey, look, Sean Ryan being thrown in to the mix when it comes to being the center, only a second time starting at center. And he said the snaps were on point. He said that was a big thing we worked on this week. It wasn't necessarily about just the blocking schemes. It was about just making sure that the snaps were rhythmic and on time, and we were able to get the ball back without, turning it over, to make sure, because it's something that I think a lot of us just kind of take for granted, right? So he was on point with that as well. So a lot of interesting stuff there coming out of that discussion for Jordan Love. Now, I know he kept saying on point and getting ready for Detroit and moving forward, and there was a lot of cliche stuff there, but there was some stuff there that was rather interesting that it kind of reminds you, oh, yeah, by the way, behind the scenes, you had to get Sean Ryan again this week rhythmic and up to speed and making sure that he not only knows the blocking scheme, but in addition to that, all the snaps are on point, So let's do this. We're going to step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got a lot more to get to. Got open phone lines. We're also going to take some text messages, some emails, and then in about 10 minutes, Mike Clemens is going to join us live inside Lambeau Field, coming out of the locker room to get the thoughts of the players and, kind of not only to enjoy this win, a divisional win, their second divisional win, but also then the quick turnaround as they now get ready for the Detroit Lions, who barely eked out a win today over the New York Giants at home, by the way, at Ford Field. And now they get ready for here come the Green Bay Packers. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Green and Gold postgame show. It's all coming up right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. In 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Green and Gold Postgame Show coming to you live from Virtual Sports Bar and Grill here in Green Bay. We appreciate you hanging out with us. And for those of you listening to us on the live stream, thank you so much. I know there's been some camera issues, but nevertheless, it's still a good packed house here. A few tables available over here at Burkle's, but for the most part, a lot of celebratory hoists, we'll say, have been taking place today for the Green Bay Packers fans and even those drowning their sorrows. If you're wearing purple that have been coming through the door, the Packers get the win 23-6, a very solid win. Vikings go to 4-7, Packers 7-3-1. Packers gave up a total of only 4 yards. 4 yards in the second half of this game. Jordan Love, a solid game, and remember, he's playing with the bad shoulder. So they handed the ball off. Emmanuel Wilson did his job. He was solid today. And that was a whole day without Josh Jacobs, no Quay Walker, no Matthew Golden. They had quite a few starters down. They still are hoping at some point to get back, obviously Matthew Golden, but Jaden Reed as well. You don't have Tucker Kraft. You don't have Elton Jenkins. It's tough to kind of life after those guys. But, defensively speaking, they got the job done. And that was with no Quay Walker, and Keyshawn Nixon ended up going down. Nate Hobbs was nowhere to be found today because he was down with an injury as well. So you had quite a few starters that were down with this team today. And the Packers were still able to pull off a victory against a J.J. McCarthy-led team that just, quite frankly, just doesn't look that good. It's a far cry from the 14-2 Sam Darnold-led team that they had last year. So, hey, they got a good win. They got a win in the division, and that's all you wanted to do was get a win in the division. All right, let's do this. Let's go to Carolina Bob. Carolina Bob, what's happening, man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Enjoying a wonderful 64-degree evening on the Carolina coast, Carolina border, I should say, out by the bonfire here. Just tuned in about 20 minutes ago, and I'll say this. This is all I got to say. Well, two things. Number one, if you want to play the great, perfect game, schedule-wise, this is the week to do it because you only got a couple of days to recover. Detroit had to play an extra quarter. I don't think you can discount that too much. And the reason your phone lines are so dead, Bill, is because all the people you love to say, hey, all you got to do is bitch about anything. Win 17 ugly wins is 17-0. They got nothing to bitch about today.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Yeah, absolutely. The special teams today got the job done. They had very few penalties today. They got a win when they were banged up. You couldn't do a lot with the quarterback because you wanted to protect the left shoulder. So, yeah, today was not a day you could point a lot of things. Even the conservative play calling has excuses as to why they did it that way, and very smartfully so. So I agree with you. Today was just a good, what you would call maybe a solid win. Not a great win, not a flashy win, not a style points win, just a solid win today over your divisional foe for sure.
Absolutely. So, and congratulations to all the teams that won state titles over the weekend.
Yes, very much so. Yep. I appreciate it. There you go. Carolina Bob, appreciate it, man. Making us a little bit jealous with 64 degrees right now down in the Carolinas. That's okay. You know what? Here's the thing I was talking about earlier today with some of the guys in the press box. The fact that we have not had to come out of the Lambeau Field press box, and as you're heading to your car or wherever it is you're going, that you haven't been hit with that nor'easter wind or that northwest wind that takes your breath away or makes your lungs hurt. Every day we don't have to deal with that is another good day. I don't care who you are. So Packers fans, it was a little bit cool today, and I saw some rosy faces and rosy red noses, but that was it. It wasn't frigid. It was a good day at the ballpark. So you take it. Hell yeah, every day that you can get out and enjoy a Packer game and not freeze to death, that's it. Take it, man. Speaking of taking it, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and then the man himself, Mike Clemens, going to join us live over there inside Lambeau Field. And he's going to take us the rest of the way. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot more. Another big segment of the Green and Gold Postgame Show coming up right after this.
This is the Green and Gold Postgame Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Packers get a win. They knock off the Minnesota Vikings at Lambeau Field, 23-6. And they did it in just, beat you up fashion. I mean, it wasn't pretty. It was, I'm not going to say a slugfest, but it was a defensive game. It was a grinded out game. It was a game in which you just wanted to establish the line of scrimmage, be able to move the ball up and down the field and kind of go from there. And that's exactly what the Green Bay Packers did. This portion of the program and our segment brought to you by our good friends over there at Cousin Subs, where they believe in better. And don't forget, you can join the Sub Club. They've got catering as well. On a day like this, you got a lot of friends coming over to the house. Heck yeah, make it a Cousin Subs kind of day. Cousin Subs, they be helping you out. Cousin Subs kind of taking care of the food, and all you got to take care of is you watching the game and enjoying yourself. Sit back, relax, and make it a Cousin Subs kind of day. Also, we're going to be joined momentarily by our buddy Mike Clemens. Mike Clemens brought to you by the Bay Motel in Green Bay. Bay Motel, quiet, cozy, comfortable, only a mile from Lambeau Field. And if you want to maybe check out the Bay Family Restaurant, you can do that as well. Go to baymotelgreenbay.com. That is baymotelgreenbay.com. And if you want to give them a call directly, it's 920-494-3441. They've got home-style cooking in the restaurant 7 days a week. Again, that's the Bay Motel. Go to baymotelgreenbay.com. That is baymotelgreenbay.com. We should be joined momentarily by Mike Clemens, and we'll be touching base with him here in just a few. So hang tight as Mike should be joining us coming up here in just a couple of minutes. If he doesn't, I know Mike has been a little under the weather. He's been trying to work a little bit down inside the Packers locker room and get a lot of the stuff back to us. And if he can't join us today, then for sure, Mike should be joining us here momentarily, as a matter of fact. Mike should be here momentarily, so hang in there. Mike just kind of texted, said, hey, I'll be joining you on the line here in just a minute. And the Green Bay Packers, like I said, they get the win over at Lambeau Field. And this was big in the sense that the Packers needed to stop the 2-game losing streak. They needed to stop the losing streak against the Vikings at home. And they needed to keep pace with the Lions, who got the win today, and the Bears, who came from behind and got the win today. The Packers getting the more solid win in the NFC North because the Bears, they were at home, and they ended up barely eking it out with the Steelers. The Lions, in overtime, barely eked it out with the New York Giants. The Packers, in the meantime, get a pretty convincing win, and they ended up knocking off Minnesota. So out of all three teams that got wins today in the NFC North, the Packers probably the strongest showing today
which is solid. So there you go. Mike Clemens now joining us on the hotline from over there at Lambeau Field. And Mike, a lot of guys had to feel good today. The offensive line had a pretty solid job today. Emmanuel Wilson did a solid thing today, had a solid job today. So all around, I thought it was a pretty solid win for the Green Bay Packers.
And a solid day for Christian Watson, who had 5 catches for 49 yards. His hands seemed to get better every day. But he knew today, we were asking, what did you think about number 23, Emmanuel Wilson, and the performance he had today filling in for Josh Jacobs at running back?
No doubt. I mean, and he came out with a chip on his shoulder, and something to continue to prove. And he did everything we asked of him. So I mean, and I props to him. He was out there balling. Nah, I mean, I see the way he works every day. Him and Josh. I mean, they both probably some of the hardest workers in the building. So, I knew when his number was called, he was going to get it done, and we put it on display today.
Mike, a couple of people here today kind of used your reference in which they said, he kind of looked like a young Aaron Jones today. Emmanuel Wilson did out there with the little bit of burst that he had.
I thought so. And to come from this small Georgia school that they picked him up as undrafted, and he beats out some other guys 2 or 3 years ago in training camp, and now today with 28 carries, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns scored in close range. He said he was asked how was he feeling before the game, and he said he spoke to Matt LaFleur.
Honestly, I was a little nervous once the game was about to go out there, and I talked to Matt, and he just says, it's another game. It's just a bigger title with a name. So just kept it the same approach today, just like it's another game. This is my first start since college, so just try to go out there and take advantage of it.
A guy that came, I know at one point Emmanuel Wilson left. He took a hit on the sideline. I think he just fell on the ball, might have knocked the wind out of himself for a minute. He waves himself out. Chris Brooks comes in, and lo and behold, Chris Brooks gets the ball, Mike, and ends up picking up a first down.
Yeah, and Chris Brooks, I said to him today, because he doesn't talk much, but I went up to him, I said, one of my favorite plays was today? He's number 30, the other running back. I said, is when they brought you in on third down, and it wasn't just pass protection. They actually sent you out to the flats to receive a ball. I said, what happened on that play?
I think it was just one of them plays. They didn't bring anybody, and so I got to get out. They didn't eat me up in pressure, so that was cool.
So that freed you on that play?
Yeah, that freed me. Yeah.
How proud of your 23 over here and what he was able to do?
I'm very proud of him, and he works so hard, and it really does mean a lot to see him ball out like that.
Right, and the win on the road last week, this one in the division, and then Thanksgiving.
I just feel like it's time to just, the victories are cool, but it's time to get back to work, go 1-0 every week.
Mike, speaking of going 1-0, look, the defense, they played their rear ends off today. You start out with no Quay Walker today. Isaiah McDuffie's wearing the green dot. He comes in, gets the job done. Edrin Cooper was all over the place. Micah Parsons was. Dontavian Wicks was a hell of a player, or I should say Dante Wyatt over there on the defensive front had a hell of a play today, too, 2 sacks. So they got the job done defensively.
Against those weapons, like the best receiver in the league, Justin Jefferson, the experienced running back, and Aaron Jones, and you hold these guys to 2 field goals and no touchdowns. Quay Walker out of the game today with a neck stinger from last week in New York. Isaiah McDuffie steps in there at inside linebacker with the radio helmet on, leads the team in combined tackles, gets a pick there in the second half. And we talked about, how important now after being swept by Minnesota last year on getting a win today at home against the Vikings.
It's huge. That's the first goal of the year is to win the North. And we know anytime we play those guys, it's going to be a physical game. And like you said, you got to pin your ears back and, got to go to work.
From the start today, more hats to the ball, more finishing, not only on defense, but on special teams. Did it feel that way to you as the game wore on?
I think we played complimentary ball today. And you've seen it, the offense is feeding off the defense is feeding off special teams. It's very complimentary, and I think, that's when we play our best ball.
On the pick, who do you think it was intended for? Did you have a sense the ball was coming over the middle, or was that your area to cover?
So I thought they were going to throw it to Aaron Jones, actually, and, I was kind of a hook dropper in the middle of the field, and I just kind of seen the ball in the air and just broke on it.
Have you ever played receiver?
No.
Because that was a heck of a catch.
Thank you.
Great hands.
Appreciate you. Yeah, thanks.
The other aspect of this, Mike, and I thought Jordan Love was very poignant in his post-game presser, was that It's the second week in a row for Sean Ryan to get a start at center and start playing center. And while they wanted to make sure he knew the blocking scheme, it was more so just getting in rhythm, getting the snap back to him, whether it was under center or specifically out of the shotgun, just to have him get another week of solid reps in at the center position.
Yeah, and then you said to me later in the game, hey, why is Anthony Belton now in at right guard instead of Jordan Morgan starting at right guard? And I said, they're doing that rotation thing again. And, I talked to LaFleur about this a couple of weeks ago. And he said, well, Mike, why do you think we do it? I said, well, player development, these guys wear out, it keeps them fresh. And he said, yeah, that's right. But it just, it's not normal. The league doesn't do that. They keep their starting five in there for the whole game. So now you got Sean Ryan, who used to play that game. Now he's the starting center, plays all the snaps. And I said, why do you think that they rotated Jordan Morgan and then, like in the second series, Anthony Belton came in at right guard today?
I think it allows both of them to really just play, because you're like, man, I could leave it all out there because, he's going to get the next drive, so I got time to recover. So you could really go out there and really just get used to just playing hard and playing the game. So I think it's beneficial.
Matching the rotation on the defensive line because they keep those guys.
Correct. Exactly. And I understand why you can't rotate, O-linemen, because you got to have that chemistry. But I think in certain instances with certain pieces, you can't.
I asked Matt about this a couple of weeks ago. He goes, Mike, why do you think so? I said, okay, player development.
Yes.
Keeps guys, heads in the game. It keeps them fresh, like the defensive line. He says, right.
There's, me and my pops always say, you're only crazy if you're, the first one to do it. So, I get it. But also, it makes the defense, I mentioned this when I was rotating, it makes the defense play you a little bit different because now you got a different guy in there. So it's like, what's why?
Makes them think.
Exactly. And that's all we need is just that little extra couple seconds of thinking.
Which they did. And Mike, all in all, the Viking side of things, depressing day over there. They just can't get anything going with J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, but when Will Reichert made one from 59 yards out, their head coach, Kevin O'Connell, said, hey, 10-6, we got a shot at this game in the second half.
I told our team we, after Will made that field goal, we go in at the half 10-6, pretty even time of possession, even in the turnover battle, whole half ahead of us, and then we did not play in any way, shape, or form the type of half that would give us a chance to compete in the second half. 2 turnovers and 3 punts on offense, and then defense got the stop that we kind of talked about at halftime, getting going. They got that stop to start the second half, and then we had that was a pretty catastrophic turnover to give them a free chance at 7 points. So you're not going to come to Lambeau Field and win a game, especially playing like that in the second half, and absolutely not in any way, shape, or form giving ourselves a chance to win the football game.
Mike, great stuff as always. We're going to recap it all coming up tomorrow during the Bill Michaels show, but great stuff as always, pal.
Talk to you tomorrow, Bill. Thank you, pal.
There you go. One more time before a crowd of 77,991 on hand to see it. It was the Green Bay Packers 23 and the Minnesota Vikings 6. We'll talk to you again on Thanksgiving Day.